Seo was a boy who was rejected every day by his crush, so on a regular day at school, Seo was relentlessly chasing after Aiko, follows her through the school ground, begging her to walk with him, but she ignores him and calls him annoying and gross. Suddenly, a ball comes flying in his direction, and a strange shock runs through his brain, fundamentally changing the entire atmosphere around him. Aiko asks him, "Are you okay?" And Seo confirms that he is fine. She then tells him that, if he wouldn't be acting like a stupid stalker, this wouldn't have happened. As Aiko walks away, Seo decides to stop chasing her. The next day, Seo enters the classroom, and change in his behavior is very evident. Aiko's best friend, Ashi, asks him that did he get some punishment from his crush. Aiko tells her to stop making it weird. But Seo, who is a completely different person, now takes humiliation like a pro. Moments later, the teacher also arrives, and is taken aback by Seo's sudden calmness, sitting quietly at his seat, instead of bothering Aiko. But Aiko realizes that she is missing the attention from him. During the break, Seo casually walks down the hallway. When Aiko sees him, she just passes a remark saying, "Seo, stop following me," but he ignores her and walks past. But he is suddenly pulled aside by his friends who ask what's wrong between him and Aiko, and he explains that he no longer wishes to pursue Aiko like usual. However, they still hold his collar and demand explanation of his weird behavior towards Aiko. Seo clarifies that he still likes Aiko, but now he don't want to stalk her anymore. Back in the class, as Seo gets ready to leave for lunch, Aiko asks, "Where are you going?" He says that he is going for lunch in cafeteria. His friends find his behavior so strange, because the Seo they know would have begged Akio to have lunch with him and walk with him. This embarrasses Aiko, but anyway, Seo leave, and his friends finally believes that Seo has finally gotten tired of being rejected by Aiko. While eating alone during the break, a girl from neighboring class, Rina, interrupts him and sits next to Seo and tries to have conversation. He asks her, why have she come to talk to him? She smiles and says, "What do you think?" He is least interested, but she doesn't take it personally and leaves. The next day, one of his friends tries to choke him. When Seo asks, "What's wrong?" and he informs him that he has a visitor, and it's Rihanna herself, approaching with the same cheerful energy, his friends hold his collar asking, "Do you not have one crush, Aiko, already? Who is this girl now?" He asks Rihanna, "What are you to me?" She just says, "Anything you would like." But as his friend was saying something, Aiko appears in the room with Ashi. Seo tries to talk to her, but she answers with a rude stare and drops her things on her desk and leaves. Rihanna asks, did she give Aiko wrong signals about both of us? But Seo, embased, says, "We need to talk." Later at the sports class, Seo gets distracted watching Aiko and stands at one place like a statue, and ends up compromising his whole team afterwards. Ashi comes to talk to him, and she talks about Rihanna, revealing that she was attached to her ex-boyfriend Arya just a few days ago, and they have been together since her first year of high school. Later, Seo decides to get into the class of Rihanna's ex, and he overhears Arya telling his friends that the girl he finds attractive is Aiko. Back in the classroom, Ashi asks Seo, "What the hell are you thinking?" and mocks him saying, "Are you thinking about Rihanna?" He says yes, "I am thinking about her," and says to them that he has something important to ask. Just then this little girl enters their classroom. Since Rihanna is quite extrovert, she joins three of them. However, Ashi immediately asks her, "Why did you break up with your ex?" making it awkward for everyone. Rina is amazed of the question since no one knew about her breakup, but she explains that he was just a judgmental boy, and Ashi comments that it's his loss entirely and says that things will get better because now she has Seo. Just then Aiko stops her saying, "You are embarrassing her." Rina feels attacked by her comments and leaves. Seo goes after her to apologize. While running after her, Seo bangs on another girl and apologizes. He finally meets her at the park and tries to calm her. As they chat, Rina notices that Seo doesn't talk about Aiko around her, and he explains that he has learnt it not to talk about other girl before her. However, she insists on talking about it and asks him directly, "Do you like Aiko?" Seo says yes, but he feels awkward about it because Aiko has been rejecting him all the time. Then, he asks her about her ex. She says he liked Aiko, that's why they broke up. As the conversation gets a little awkward, he tells that before he even met Aiko he was denied by someone else, saying, "Did you ever look at you face?" And that wasn't enough. Her boyfriend also came to throw punches at him, and that was the same day he met Aiko and fell for her really hard. and afterwards, he couldn't forget her from the moment she first held out her hand towards him. But because it's not possible for him to go out with her as she keeps rejecting him, he just wants to be her supporter. That's it. Rihanna smiles hearing him, and says she is cheered up now, and tell him that she won't make him awkward anymore, and leaves. But he stops her saying, her ex-boyfriend is actually weird. She smiles and says, I know that. The next morning at school, Rina is back together with her ex-boyfriend. Ashi feels bad for Seo, thinking that he got rejected by Rihanna too. Feeling bad for him, the two girls decides to comfort him. However, they are shocked to see Seo surprisingly fine. When Eiko asks him if he is okay, he says, yes, I am good and I wasn't expecting anything with Rihanna at all. Meanwhile, his friends gets in the class, but Seo jokes about Eiko and him, so everyone burst into laughter. Later that day, while Seo is alone in his home, he realizes that Eiko is totally out of his league. But just then he notices Eiko outside his house. So he invites her in, and the two takes the seats, and he asks her, what brings you here? Saying, there is no one at my place. It makes her a little awkward, and Seo flusters saying, I didn't mean it that way. She then asks him, that what's going on with you? That his change in behavior is so abnormal, that now he is not even annoying her at all. He says, what do you mean? She says that you are different now. So in a moment of old habits he asks her to date him, but this embarrasses her even more. So he apologizes to her and says, no matter how many times I asked you out, you always rejected, but I still kept trying. Anyeon would feel annoying with that. But just as they are talking, they are interrupted by his older sister, Kay, and he quickly explains that Eiko was just there to discuss some school matters. After that he walks her home, and while stopping, she asks, what was he saying before his sister arrived? So he says that he was saying that he has harassed her many times by chasing her. While she seems disheartened, he jokingly asks if any of her friend can be a good match for him. This causes jealous Eiko lose her mind, and she runs off from there. The following day, at class, Seo moves his seat away from Eiko, and when Ashi asks him about it, he says he wants to give her some space and wants to move on as well. However, she tells him that he can't just walk away and needs to take responsibility for Eiko's life. She explains that his constant presence around her has made a bubble, making other students avoid her. And since he has been like a leech around her, she just have you and me as friends. He realizes that he has been really selfish, because of which Eiko could never make friends as people thought of them as couples. So he decides to completely remove himself from Eiko's life. As the bell rings for the break, Seo observes Eiko from far and is struck by a guilt. Just then one of his friends approaches and asks why isn't he running after Eiko anymore. But he replies him saying, bother someone else, not me. Later, Seo thinks about the situation and wonders that Eiko isn't alone by choice, but she has no other option. As he keeps thinking, he suddenly comes face to face with Ren, the president of school moral committee. She immediately asks him, did you scared my junior the other day? He remembers the incident clearly and apologizes immediately, because he bumped into that girl accidentally. But she agrees with him and says that your intentions were not malicious, so that's fine. But he continues to apologize and gets ready to leave. But Ren stops him, explaining that the girl he scared, Yuana Mise, a pessimistic member of her committee, who has insecurities around boys, he says. Then her reaction would have been same with anyone else and tries to leave again, but she grabs him and takes him to her office. She explains that Yuanami is a hardworking and a sincere girl, and says that not only her but each member in the committee is sincere, but time to time they get struggles around other people. But Seo tries to admire her as a cool senior, but she says she isn't worthy of such praises because she herself struggles around her confidence, and her attempt to encourage her teammates often fire backs, as they think of her as cool senior too. He listened to her intently, and then offers a surprising conclusion that she has such high standards that no one really understands her. So he advises her that she should occasionally pat their shoulders and praise them. He says that they don't want their leader come on their level, but rather want her confidant to lead them. She is taken aback by his advice, and he says you should praise your teammates time to time. Moments later, when Seo gets ready to leave, she asks for his name. However, he gives her a fake one, Yamazaki. After which he leaves. The next morning, Seo is leaving the house with his sister Kay, carrying all bags with him. She asks him, did you speak to Eiko? He says that we are just classmates. Kay criticizes his approach, telling him he will never get a girl if he acts like this. Just then they spot Eiko ahead. Kay carries his bags and asks him to go have a chit-chat with Eiko, so he catches up to her, and they exchange a few words like greetings. As they arrive at school, Ashi yells at him from the stairs, claiming that Ren is pissed at him for lying, and that she is already inside his classroom. He takes a peek nervously, and just as they were talking, Ren approaches him, She greets him as Yamazaki, then reveals that she knows about his lie, and tell him to meet at the lunch for a chat as she leaves. The real Yamazaki appears behind him, angry that he used his name and got him involved. However, Seo smoothly convinces the guy that Ren is attracted to him, causing him to let go of his temper. During the break, Ashi comes from behind and chokes him for lying to everyone. Afterwards, Seo gets to the council room and brings some snacks for Ren. As a peace offering, he finds Yuanami in the room as well, and offers her a snacks too, but she gets nervous and declines. After that, Ren asks him, "Why did you lie?" Seo then explains that having his name marked by the head of moral committee seemed like a bad idea. She then asks him that, why did he throw his friend into this matter? But he explains that Yamazaki doesn't have any problems at all. When she asks him, how is that possible, he says, pointing out to Yuanami, "You gets it right," but she gets scared again, and hides behind Ren, but he immediately apologizes for scaring her. But she musters the courage and says that Yamazaki is delighted because he is attracted to Ren. Hearing this, Ren scolds her, and then tells Seo that he shouldn't falsify his name. He gets it, and tries to leave, but she stops him saying, "There is something else we need to talk," and says that the day he bumped into Yuanami, she outrightly ran away, so she wanted to apologize to him. After which Yuanami says that he was very kind towards her by offering her help when he saw her carrying heavy weights that day. After which he leaves, and as he walks down the hallway, he glances into another classroom and sees Eiko is surrounded by a group of girls, laughing and making new friends. He gets relieved that she is finally socializing. Suddenly, he gets a text from his sister asking his help in the council room, and it turns out Kai needs assistance gathering the material for upcoming summer school tour. While he argues that there are plenty of other people she can ask help from, she says you are good at administration, so he decides to help. So the student council members and the siblings decides to work together. His work with administration task is so good, they truly gets impressed by him and praises his efficiency. He asks them, "Are you gonna need me tomorrow as well?" She says, "What if I do?" He tell her he's busy, but she lure him of a attractive magazine, so he agrees, blushing. Meanwhile, Yuanami seems lost because of how her conversation went with Seo. Ren turns to her and says that you don't have to worry this much. What you said about conquering your social anxiety was absolutely okay. Later at class, Eiko seems to be getting along well with her new friends. One of them suggests they should go to her house at the weekend to meet her little sister. She smiles and agrees. Just then, Seo walks into the classroom. Ashi calls out to him, asking if he wanna come to Eiko's house too. He gives a dramatic refusal. Hearing this, Eiko retorts saying she wouldn't even let her sister near him anyway. Later, Eiko's friends finalize the plan for the weekend and she agrees. Meanwhile, Seo walks out and seems completely uninterested. But Eiko calls him from behind, mustering the courage she asks, "Will you really not be coming?" But just as she is about to speak, Ren appears there and says she have to speak to Seo, and takes him to her office. She says that a new problem has appeared, that Yuanami is now depressed because she thinks Seo has not accepted her apology. She gets really close to him and asks for his real opinion. Being a fake pragmatist, Seo explains that you should stop acting like her guardian and starts listening properly. And he says that Yuanami is just using me to step aside her real problem of social anxiety. He then tells her that Yuanami should practice speaking to him by herself, not via student council. After their conversation, he smiles and leaves. Eiko's friends finally arrives at her place, and can't get over with her little sister's cuteness, who's serving them cakes, and to our surprise, Seo is also there, who tell Eiko's sister how to pronounce his name properly, leaving everyone smiling. After a while, summer arrives in Tokyo, bringing scorching heat along, which irritates most students including Seo. As Seo steps into his classroom, he feels immense relief of air conditioner hitting his face. Just then Ashi appears greeting him cheerfully. However, Seo immediately feels weird, commenting on her summer uniform. But Ashi rolls her eyes, reminding him that it's their official uniform. He then immediately glances at Eiko, who looks really pretty. Just as they are speaking, the teacher arrives. During class, Ashi is scrolling through the picture she took from weekend. While they had a good time, she notices Eiko wasn't enjoying at all. Later, Ashi tells Seo, "Why aren't you speaking to Eiko?" But he says he must give her the space she need to make more friends, and Ashi agrees to him, but more than that. Seo says from a distance he can see Eiko's curves clearly, pissing Ashi completely. Later, after class, Sasa approaches him, eager to talk about the weekend. He pulls out his phone and shows him the picture of Aiko's sister and him. As Sayo scrolls through, Sasa comments on how cute Aiko's sister is. Sayo agrees and without hesitation sends the pictures to Sasa's sister, making it look like he likes Aiko's sister. But he pulls back his phone, and his sister immediately replies, saying, "Oh, how cute. I will become a little girl as well." When the lunch breaks begins, Seo opens his meal, but his friend Yama spots him. Yama insists him to join the group, which includes a loud girl named Koga. He then sees the Koga, who's banging the table and laughing out loud. Yama then tells the group that Sayo will be joining us as well. When he joins in, Koga immediately comments on how quiet Sayo has been lately, and asks, "Are you an introvert?" He shows his seat saying, "Yes, I am." This conversation quickly turns to his relationship with Aiko, and Seo threatens Yama for putting him in this weird situation. However, Koga bluntly asks, "Aren't you her boyfriend?" But he replies that he doesn't even know where her house is. Hearing this, Yama starts teasing him, saying, "I am quite popular among girls." Girls ask about his connection with Riina, but he denies, saying it was nothing like that as Rena already has a boyfriend. Just as he is answering them, Aiko comes in front of him, and without a word to anyone else, she grabs his arm and pulls him away, leaving everyone shocked. He gets completely surprised, trying to think what he did. He tries to remember what he might have done wrong to piss her, but just then she approaches him closely. He tells her to calm down a little, and tell him what did he do. She then asks him what he was doing talking to those girls. He says, "Who, Koga and others." Seo can't really believe what she just said, and asks, "Does that mean you are jealous?" But she thinks she might have expressed too much and says, "Don't get any wrong idea," and leaves from there. Later, he keeps thinking about the whole incident, and Ashi pokes him at the back, asking what happened, so he explains how angry Aiko got because he was speaking to other girls. He can't understand what happened to her and gets irritated. While Ashi hears his whole situation, Seo says even when angry, Aiko is super cute. Ashi shuts him saying stop being creepy. Just then, a member of the student council approaches and asks to speak to him, so they meet. Seo asks, do they need his help again? He says, it's about something else. He directly asks him, I heard that you have a crush on Aiko, right? Seo is stunned and says you know about that too. He says why did you suddenly stop following her? Seo says, I don't have to speak to you about it at all. However, the upperclassmen ask, that does your sister know about it? He denies. He then reveals the real reason he is there. It turns out that Seo's sister Kai is extremely worried about his sudden change in behaviors. Seo doesn't believe it, because his sister always depressingly comments on him, but the upper men tell him that his sister is in guilt because she thinks she is the reason of her brother's change in behavior. Seo is shocked that his bold elder sister is worried about something. He learns that this upper man has already arranged a location for both of them to talk. After which both of them walks through the hallway, and Seo asks him, why is he trying to fix his family matter? Upper men ask why. Are you scared of your sister? Seo says no I am not, but my sister is an adamant mule and I am not gonna cater her mood today. He then says that his sister Kai has saved him from losing his mind last year, and he now wants to return the favor by helping her. As they continue walking, Aiko and Ashi see them from behind. He then takes up the stairs to see his sister. On the roof, Seo finds Kai waiting for him, but it seems like the committee member has arranged their meeting intentionally so that they both can talk to each other. Anyway, Seo directly asks her, are you depressed about something? And he says that, I know it's about me to test how much she pays attention to him. Seo challenges her to list 10 good traits about him in the count of 10, and he begins counting, but she starts panicking, unable to name a single one. But when he asks her to list his ordinary traits, Kai rattles off more than 10 with ease. Seo gets the confirmation he needs. He tells her not to blame herself for his inabilities to become good. He tells her that even though she has always been rude to him, but she was only speaking the truth. Since he is an ordinary guy, he gave up his pursuits on a lot of things. As he tries to leave, she says that she doesn't want her brother to be heartbroken for anything. He says, do you think I can't get over Aiko? She says, it's a shame to give up on the girl you have loved for years. So she tells him that from now on, she won't make fun of his face and other stuff, so he doesn't have to be deprived of his confidence. But he tells him straight, are you wanting to win some award of the year? Why would you say that? We are siblings. It's completely normal in between us. And he confirms that his annoying elder sister, who keeps irritating him and makes fun of him, is the sister he likes. Just then their intense conversation is interrupted by the arrival of Aiko and Ashi, who has been listening to their conversation. Aiko angrily holds his collar for speaking to his sister like that. and demands apology. However, Seo ignore what she says and ask, "Were you listening to us? That's not good." And he directly asks, "Why are you here?" Aiko, the question hits her, and she realizes she has become the very stalker she used to hate. Filled with embarrassment, she declares it was a coincidence and run away again. Kai also decides to leave, calling him an idiot before she goes. Their sibling relationship gets normal to its dysfunction, which makes him smile. Later that evening, Seo wonders that Aiko has been behaving really weird today, but decline his thoughts and get back home. When he arrives home, he sees Kai lying on the sofa and apologizes to her for speaking rudely. He then tries to make peace by offering snacks. She accepts it and immediately starts eating. He tries to grab some snack for him, but she doesn't offer, so he starts clicking her pictures. As the two argue, their mom watches this with a gentle smile on her face, as he says he will viral her pictures. She gets there with a big stick to hit him hard. The following day, Aiko and Ashi are in the cafeteria, and Ashi asks her, "Why did you go after Seo today?" Feeling embarrassed, she says she doesn't know either, but Ashi still insists. "Tell me about it." She then reflects on their weekend get-together, and she admits getting a little jealous because her younger sister became so attached to her friends so quickly. However, Ashi knows the real issue, and takes the conversation towards the actual problem, which is Seo, of course. Anne says that because he is not giving her attention, she is feeling flustered, isn't it? Aiko denies, but then stays quiet. Ashi says that it's very natural to feel this way when we are used to the attention by someone. She asks Aiko, didn't Seo expressed all his feelings already? She says, yes he did. So Ashi says that, it's your turn now to put effort to get his attention back. Meanwhile, at Seo's residence, he and his sister Kai are having breakfast. She looks at his hairs, which has grown out and is now a messy lump. She says that it looks awful, but he doesn't care anymore. She reminds him of how he used to be more concerned about his appearance earlier. On the way to school, he reflects on the hair comment, realizing he only took care of his hair because he was trying to impress Aiko, and now it's just a waste. Arrive at class, he greets Aiko with a formal tone, and Ashi as well, but she kicks in his leg, saying don't greet me like that. After which she mentions about their girls' outings, and he asks did you have fun, and they chat for a moment like normal friends. Later, Aiko tries to approach him as he is about to leave for his break, but he doesn't seem to notice and heads straight. Seo finds a spot to sit in the school compound, intending to enjoy his lunch in peace. He smiles seeing the snacks he got today, but his solitude is short-lived. He finds the entire morals committee group sitting at the next table. Ren insists him joining them, but he says, wouldn't it be awkward for the committee member? But then Yuanami also calls him over, so he reluctantly agrees to sit down with them. Seeing Yuanami talk so much, he gets surprised and asks did she get a boyfriend or something. Ren immediately pulls his ears saying, no. He sees Yuanami far less insecure and more confident. The conversation goes on, and Yuanami even asks the other girl to smile, but he tells her not to force herself. Hearing this, she shouts on him saying stop being so obsessive over himself. Meanwhile, Ren tells him, do you see the changes in the girls now? They are way more confident. He agrees and asks, how did she do that? She thanks him, as he was the essential catalyst for Yuanami's change and her confidence, helping her see that men can be kind towards them. Furthermore, Ren reveals that his advice to pat her teammates on the back and support them had a profound effect, but he says that he doesn't think he did a lot of the work. Also adds that he don't think he will be able to talk to Yuanami the same way again. Ren tells Seo that he gave her extremely valuable advice, and not only that, she mentions that he doesn't look like Kai's brother at all, and says that she know his sister since first year of school, when she used to blonde her hairs. Upon returning to classroom, Seo sees his friend down on the bench. Seo is confronted by his friend Sasa, who looks tense because Seo has sent the pictures of Sasa and Aiko's sister to his own sister, Yuki, who has been tormenting him about it ever since. He gets frustrated on him and pulls him aside to talk, saying that he has a crush on Aiko. Seo is taken aback, but his reaction isn't one of anger or jealousy. Instead, quietly understands his situations, saying Aiko is a girl far more out of his league, and she deserves someone who is her equal, and he sees Sasa as that person. He is handsome, popular, and has many good quality. He sees Aiko smiling and laughing with Sasa and others. Just then the teacher comes in and hands him over the notebook to distribute in the class. When he calls Aiko's name, she doesn't listen, so he hands over Aiko's books to Ashi. When she asks, why don't you give it yourself? He says is in hurry and leaves. hiding in the washroom. He later notices Sasa walking with Eiko and Ashi and feels heartbroken as he is getting his things from the locker. Eiko appears behind him. He gets surprised seeing her there and asks her if she wanna go home with him. She gentle nods her head, after which she gets in the class to collect her bag. She asks him, "Where do you disappear during lunch breaks?" And he tell her that he eats in a cafeteria. She asks, "Do you eat alone?" He says, "Today I ate with the committee girls." Eiko's face gets red due to jealousy, and she asks, "Do you know those girls really well?" He says, "Not that well. We just cross paths sometimes. Also she is a friend of my sister." But seeing her questions, he gets a little awkward when she asks, "Will do have lunch with us?" He wonders that he doesn't want to spoil her new friendship she formed, so he just says casually, "I don't want that." Her face changes immediately hearing it, so he baffles and change his words saying, "I don't want results to come out." As they head down the stairs, Eiko comments on his hairs, saying, "Why didn't you fix it yet?" So he turns around and asks for her opinion on what color should he dye his hairs. She simply says, "It doesn't matter." But when he insists, she approaches him closely and says either one will be fine on your hairs. And she mentions that if his hairs would have been brown when they first met, she never would have spoken to him. So he stops by a store and purchase a dark brown dye. Back home, he attempts to dye his hairs. Just then his sister finds him in the bathroom being confused, so she takes over, shaking his head around and putting on the dye. After that he tell him to wait for a couple of days for the color to set. Sometime later, results are announced, and holding his results, he says, "There are different motivation everyone has in this world, like children playing. Their motivation comes from within." Just like that. Last time he came 32nd in the class because he was constantly around Eiko, and that was his motivation. But this time he didn't have any motivation. Just as he is in the middle of his thoughts, Ashi comes and tell him, grades have been released, and show him her results. He then show her his grades, which has dropped drastically, and Ashi asks, "I thought you will be on top 50 again." And Sayo says, "You haven't scored good too." But she smiles saying, "I have scored better than before." Meanwhile, his other friend comes asking about his grades, and bragging his grades. Later, standing before the core board, he looks at Eiko's rank. She has scores second place in their class. He gets happy, though other girls think of him as creep. But a painful thought strikes him, that before Eiko's rank was much lower, which means I was the one holding her back. He looks over and sees her talking and laughing with her friends. Then Sasa gets there too, and discuss his score, revealing that he is on 29th position. Of course, surprising Sayo, he gets completely terrified thinking, not only Sasa is handsome, but is good at studies too. This confirms Sayo's deepest insecurity. Just then, he walked past Eiko, but she immediately notices his hairs, which shocks him for a bit. The next day at school, Eiko is the center of attention as her new friends discusses their summer vacation plans, and they say they want to come to Eiko's house again to play with her sister. Just then Sasa gets in the conversation and asks, "Are you gonna invite Sayo to your house, since you two doesn't seems talking?" The girls speculate that it must be hard for Sayo to approach Eiko now as she is so popular. Meanwhile, Sayo overhears it and simply leaves the classroom. On his way, his attention is caught by three girls, who are staring strangely at Eiko through the doorway. Seeing this, Sayo asks, "What do you want from Eiko?" The suddenness startles Ma, who screams at him, the leader of the squad. "Ma simply boosts that unlike you. I am very sophisticated, so stop roaming around us." Seo imitates her making the same stupid noise like her, which annoys them, and causes them to leave from there. The noise brings out Eiko to see what's going on, and Seo dismisses the incident, telling her it was just three pampered ladies making a scene. The next day it starts pouring, and Eiko and Seo are walking separately on their way to school. But then they bump into each other, colliding the umbrellas. After greeting each other, Seo continues walking, while Eiko runs after him. Just then Sayo notices a car speeding towards a large hole right beside Eiko, and without hesitating he jumps in front of her, saving her getting splashed with dirty water. As he stands there, he gets wet and Eiko is left flustered. Later at class, he catches cold and feels awful, and Eiko offers him her handkerchief. Yama teases him and offers his sweaty handkerchief as well. But just then Sayo slumps onto his desk and passes out completely, and doesn't wake up even after his friends tries. He then wakes up sometime later by the sound his teacher. He tries to get up, but due to his headache, he can barely open his eyes. Ashi notices this and tries to talk to him. Just then the teacher approaches his table. Realizing he looks sick, she gives him the permission to go to the medical room. However, as he tries to walk, his legs buckles and he collapses on the floor right before everyone. As his classmates rush to help, Seo remembers his past where he always tried to hide his emotions from the world, hoping to cover all his insecurities in a laughter. But one day, in the classroom, when he tripped and everyone laughed at him, Aiko was the one who came to help him. Later in the medical room, the nurse tells Aiko and Ashi that Sayo has a high fever and tell them if they want to look they can, so they peeks into sleeping Sayo where Aiko is clearly worried about him. Afterwards, nurse sends them back to their classes. Moments later, the nurse checks in on Sayo, who has regained consciousness. She tells him that he collapsed in class and says that he need to do rest because he still have fever, but he says that he was fine till this morning. But the nurse insists him to rest. Meanwhile, Aiko can't seems to concentrate in the class and keeps thinking about Sayo later. Ren gets into the class, and the girls gets odd seeing her. She asks Ashi that she wanna talk to Sayo. Then Ashi tell her how Sayo collapsed. She asks, did you informed his sister? When they deny, Ren tell them that she will inform Sayo's sister and leaves after school. The two girls walk through the hallway, carrying Sayo's bag in their hand. Ashi suggests they should take a peek inside to see what he carries around. But Aiko denies, saying, we should respect his privacy, and say, absolutely not, after which they kept walking towards the medical room, only to find that the nurse has already left. Ashi loudly screams, hey Sayo, are you there? But Aiko shush her, saying, he must be sleeping. As they look inside the curtain, there is Sayo, who is looking out the window. The girls approach him. She offers him a drink, but he just seems too weak to respond. He then says sorry for causing trouble for them, and kept looking out of the window. After a moment he hold his head, but as Aiko tries to get close to him to see what happened, he shouts, don't come close, I might be contagious. After that they gets out of there, and Ashi mocks Seo, saying, she never though she will see him like this week. But Aiko tell her not to say something like that. As they are about to leave for home, they run into Kai and Ren, who has also come to visit Seo. All four girls gets in the medical room to see him, who seems absolutely depressed with his situation. Kai and Ren both place their hands on his forehead to check his temperature. Their concern ignite guilt on Aiko's face. Meanwhile, Kai says that she will inform their mother about him. The next day, Seo does not go to school, and Aiko seems off too. That evening, as Seo is resting, someone rings the doorbell. It turns out that Aiko and Ashi came to visit him. The girls tell him how everyone in the group was worried about him, and then she shows him the messages, and he texts the group back. Meanwhile, Ashi informs him that it was Aiko's idea to visit him, which makes Aiko's face all red. Ashi embarrasses her even more by saying, how did Yo know his address? And she says, Yama told her, and again unable to express her feelings. She tell Ashi to let's go, and Ashi holds him the bag of fruits and they both leave. The next day Seo is back at the school, and Aiko notices him talking to Ma. Just then the blonde girl approaches Aiko. She first of all congratulates her for her grades. Aiko thanks her nervously, and she compliant that only second-year students are eligible to become the president of student council. So she formally asks Aiko to support her campaign. When Aiko asks, can a first year even apply for that? The other girl tell her that self-nomination in the election is acceptable. But Sayo immediately sees her strategy and intervenes, asking Ma if her plan is to simply use Aiko as a poster girl. Ma turns towards him and says, why would you even say that? Clearing his throat, Seo says, Aiko's beauty and popularity are so immense that she would completely overshadow Ma, making her voters forget her. Insulted by his accusation, Ma angrily demands to know what he means and instantly looks at Aiko, but now, with the entire class watching them, Ma and her crew leaves. Just then, Ashi pokes him to show him Aiko, who's standing there all red-faced. Seo gets confused on the fact that he has complimented Aiko a million times. Then how is it different now? Ashi explains that this time it was a sincere compliment delivered before everyone, but the praise was too much for Aiko to handle, so she yells at him saying, stop embarrassing me. But seeing her cute face, he compliments her again. But that was too much for Aiko and she immediately runs away. The next day, the class begins with Sayo solving complex maths equation on the board, and the teacher praises his work. And as he returns back to his desk, Ashi teases him, surprised by his intelligence, to solve her problem too. Just then Sasa says to solve his maths problem too. From his seat, he glances over to Aiko, noticing how she is always surrounded by a group of girls. When it's the break time, he heads to the cafeteria and finds that all the tables are full already. But just then Yuanami sees him and calls him over the committee's table. He joins in and asks, why did you call me? She smiles and simply says, just like that. After which they chit-chat. Yuanami then asks, are you better now? He says, yes I am. Then Ren tell him that there is a reason we called you over. And she directly asks him, would you like to join our committee? Which shocks him, and respectfully he denies. But Ren explains that She will be stepping down as president in few months, and so far they have not recruited any male member. And as per the other members, the current female candidate sees this position just as a status symbol. Ren sees the real potential in Sayo, reminding him of the useful advice he gave her earlier. She tell him, don't be in hurry and think about it. So while he ponders upon this decision, Yuanami reaches out and take his hand, wishing him good luck. He immediately pulls back, but seeing the angry faces of committee members, he holds her hand back, but this again makes the seniors lose their minds. Overwhelmed, Sayo makes a clumsy retreat and flees away, making them sure that he is not fit to represent the committee. He escaped to the school corridors and meets Eiko there, who notices his hairs is all messed up. Not wanting to explain the beatdown from committee girls, he stay quiet, but before he can react, Eiko steps closer and begins to fix his hairs. Sayo is absolutely stunned by her gentle touch and starts blushing. He offers her to pay for being his personal stylist. The absurd comment makes Eiko angry again and she runs away. Later, all the students gather for the lecture from school leadership committee. The initial talks are really boring, but when Ren starts speaking, all the students are captivated. Moment later, the student council representatives appears. He then notices the handsome guy Yugo, who has all the girls fanning over him. Back in the classroom, everyone seems chatting about the assembly. However, the teacher announces that they need volunteers for the school tour. No one wished to volunteers, so teacher decides to settle it with rock, paper, scissors. Sayo is paired against one of his classmates, and he quickly wins the game, saving himself from the duty. Eiko on the other hand loses her match and is obligated to take the responsibility. Seeing this, Sayo immediately switches with his classmate to take his place, but the teacher asks, will you be able to control both the club and tour guide? He assures her that he will manages everything. It's his strategic move to get close to Eiko, and everyone start gossiping around. Meanwhile, Ashi comments that Eiko and Sasa seems a good match. To disguise his true feelings, he agrees, but she absolutely doesn't trust his acting. With the first term over, the teacher announces the official start of the vacation. As Sayo leaves, he glances back at his handsome friend Sasa. Irritated, he simply walks away. Meanwhile, Aiko stares at him leaving. Later, Aiko and Ashi sits at the cafeteria, while Ashi checks her vacation schedule, which is really busy because of the club activities. Aiko insists to take it easy, but she says she wanna go out with her, and they then enjoy their meal and discuss where they should be going for their vacation. As the summer break begins, Sayo works at his part-time job at a local bookstore. The manager praises him for his ability to work quickly and compliments him. Later, while sweeping the front of the store, Sayo notices 3 boys bullying a small child. Without hesitation, he steps in and tell them to stop this right away. He then get towards the small boy, pick his bag, and help him stand up. As the little boy sobs, those boys quickly backs off. He then asks the boy his name and bring him inside the store. He learns that his name is Kota and then calls his relative, and soon after his older sister arrives, running towards him. And after Sayo explains her the whole thing, she thanks him for helping her brother. Seeing her, Sayo gets happy and flustered as she carries a different aura of her own self. Then Sayo hands over the bag to her and tell the little boy to take care next time. And the girl tell her brother that, you are lucky to be saved by a gentleman like him. Sayo gets happy by her compliment. Later that evening, Sayo is eating his snacks, happily remembering the compliment that girl gave. Just then, Kai walks in and orders him to make a cup of coffee, so he prepares her the coffee, and she says, why are you awake even on summer breaks? He informs her about his job. He brings her the coffee and they discuss about his job at the bookstore. She then asks, did you receive the invitation to join the moral committee, which she heard from Ren, but Sayo says he is not interested in it because it's too much responsibility. Hearing this, Kai suggests he joins the student council instead. He nearly chokes hearing it and asks, why should I? He thinks that his sister will be resigning soon, but still he doesn't want to commit to such jobs. She insists him to think about this proposal and then leaves. The next day at the bookstore, Suzu, Kota's elder sister visits him again and thanks him once more for helping her brother the other day. Looking at her, Sayo tell her that she has a great personality which makes her smile. The two of them end up talking about their school campus, and then he tell about his school, which makes her surprised, saying, it's a really big school with beautiful uniforms too. Seeing such a beautiful girl and her charm makes Sayo blush many times. He then asks about Kota. Suzu tell him that he is doing really fine and is playing outside. She then blushes again and says, she haven't talked to boys a lot, so don't mind if I get a little awkward. And before leaving, Suzu shyly hands him a present and promises to come back. He walks her out of the store and she leaves. Once inside, Sayo opens the present she gave. only to find it's a stupid shark-themed scarf. The following day, Seo is walking beside Suzu. As the gentle sea breeze rolls in the ocean, they smiles at each other. Just then a strong gust of wind hits them, and Seo notices a beautiful bracelet in her hand. She also notices the shark handkerchief on Seo's pocket. He opens that handkerchief and she gets overjoyed that he is using her gift. Later at the bookstore, Suzu arrives and looks beautiful. The two of them starts talking to each other. Seo then notices the same bracelet he saw earlier and compliments it. She really likes his compliment and explains that her father bought it for her. She tells him that there is a shop near the beach, and as he tries to check on his phone, she approaches Seo and touches his arm. He almost gets flustered. He tells her that he wanna go to that store, and wonders that Aiko's birthday is coming, so he decides he wanna buy something for her from that store. Thinking how cute he is, she starts blushing, and seeing the perfect opportunity, he asks her to accompany him, to which she gladly agrees. They reach the place, and as they walks towards the shop, Suzu seems a little awkward that someone might see them in the wrong idea. She adds that her outfit is way too stylish to enter the store, and that she usually wears casual clothes. However, he comforts her, saying the outfit looks good on her, and asks her, "Do your friends comments on your dressing sense?" She agrees, but he says, "You look really cute in this dress," and she smiles hearing it. Meanwhile, a parallel trip is underway. Ashi, Aiko and her little sister, Ai are heading out to enjoy the day at the ocean. On their way, they pass by Seo's house, and Ashi comes with the idea to invite him too, but, as she rings the bell, there is no answer. Assuming he is busy with his part-time job, three of them continue, unaware that Seo is also there in the same coastline. Seo and Suzu gets excited to see the ocean view, and she teases him asking if he wanna see girls in swimsuits, to which he immediately refuses, after which she asks him, "Have you been here?" And he says, "Many years ago," and Suzu mentions that she doesn't like swimming because every year she has to buy new swimsuits. After which she tells him that bracelet shop is in that direction, and asks him to follow the lead. She instantly holds his hand, to which he gets nervous, so Suzu apologizes, saying, "It's just a habit." He then holds her hand so that she doesn't fall in her big shoes. Finally they reach the handmade craft shop. He gets a little nervous thinking he is the only guy there. Just then, the owner of the shop greets them, recognizing Suzu as her customer. She mistakes Seo and Suzu as couples, embarrassing them, but he corrects her immediately. As they browse different jewelries, he picks a shell and asks about it. So she tells him about those small beautiful pearls. He gets overwhelmed, unsure of what would be the perfect gift for Aiko. The owner tries to help them out, but his brain can't comprehend too much of the information. So Suzu suggests him that rather than buying, we should make a bracelet here, and Seo agrees to her on making a piece of jewelry there. The owner notices him all fuzzy and serious and asks, "Is the present for someone special?" Seo tells her the truth about his crush. Suzu gets ecstatic hearing this, so the owner shows him all the material to make the jewelry, and Suzu promises him to help him choose the best gift. She shows him a pink shell, but Seo imagines Aiko in pink shell, but thinks it won't suit her, and then wonders, what color will her the best? Seeing him lost, Suzu asks who this girl is, and he explains that it's his long one-sided crush who never wanna be in relationship with him. Suzu says, "If you aren't going out with her, then why are you so bothered?" And he says, even after Aiko keeps saying not to follow her, his crush for her has not gone away. And even if he doesn't follow her anymore, but his love for her has really pushed him to be better at everything, like grades, better focus, and even he has tried to better myself. So he says that he wanna give her the gift as a token of gratitude, and adds that if this gift brings smile to her face, he will be satisfied. So he stops overthinking and starts seeing some light color that will suit Aiko. On the other hand, Aiko, Ashi and Ayer are enjoying their time at the beach. After playing with Ayer in water, they sit down to cool off. Just then they notices the same handmade craft shop in a distance, and decides to visit there. Meanwhile, as Seo looks around the shop, his eyes lands on a painting on the wall. It's a picture of a younger Suzu, and Seo is stunned from her outfit. He realizes it's a middle school uniform. He assumed this whole time that Suzu is a college-going girl, but now realizes that she is just a child who is currently in a middle school. Moments later, Seo cuts up the shell to make a gift for his crush. The owner then show him a beautiful blue shell, and now he is cutting that. Although he gets frustrated in the process, but Suzu cheer him up, which motivates him to keep going. Later, when he cools down a little, the two starts talking, but as she jumps around to cheer him, he only gets distracted. After a while, Seo gets tired and apologizes to Suzu for taking so much of time, but she says that she is having fun, so it's fine. Then she seriously asks him a question. "Seo, if you have given up on Eiko, why are you trying so hard to make her a gift?" He tells her that it is a little complicated, after which two of them start talking about love, and Seo says that even after chasing a girl he is still trying to figure the answer, while Zuzu hears him keenly. But she says she never had a boyfriend, and gets embarrassed moments later. Ashi, Aiko and Ire arrives at the same store, but they are told that craft making for the day is over, but they can still look into the products. As they browse, Ire notices a new picture on the wall, featuring Sayo and Zuzu. Later, as the three girls are eating near the beach, Aiko catches a glimpse of a boy from the distance, but it was fast, she couldn't be sure, but she feels it could be Sayo. After that, Ashi gets them a tub of ice cream, making Ire super happy, while Ashi gets a fruit bowl for them. When Aiko mentions that she might have just seen Sayo, Ashi dismisses the idea, jokingly saying he might be on a date, but Eiko finds it ridiculous out of jealousy. As the day sets off, Seo and Zuzu heads home, and Zuzu tell him that we should come here again, and he promises that they will visit again on the bus. They again chit-chat about everything that happened today, and she asks him, "Will I also fall in love ever?" He burst into laughter hearing it, and say don't worry about it. Eventually Zuzu falls asleep as her head nods off, and he watches her for a moment thinking she is actually a kid, before turning his attention to his phone as a message comes in. It's from Ashi, who sent a message to their group chat. Seo opens it and his eyes widens. It's a photo of Eiko in swimsuit, having fun. His face gets completely red as he notices that Eiko was on the same beach as him. The next day, during Sayo's shift at the bookstore, he asks the owner about his plan. When the summer vacation is over and he no longer work, old man tell him that he is already in the process of hiring a girl. He tells Sayo that he will be the one to guide the next employee. As the old man leaves, Sayo picks a book and gazes at it. Just then a girl appears there. He immediately recognizes her. It's Mina, the timid girl who sits next to him in class. She explains that she saw the recruitment sign and is here to apply. Seo wonders that someone so shy would be able to handle customers. He tells the owner about it, but he seems overjoyed because Mina is a regular customer. Later, as Mina shows her resume to him, the owner hires her without a second though, and takes her alongside. He then introduces Mina to his wife, who is equally welcoming, and immediately points out to Mina's long bangs, so she pulls out a pair of scissors, offering to cut her hairs. Seo immediately steps in to save the introverted girl. He thinks about his approach for a while and then formally greets her. He cleverly asks her if her bangs ever gets in the way whenever she is reading. What does she do? Mina replies that she uses hair clips, and demonstrate using the clips. This is the first time Seo has seen her complete face. Thankfully, the simple elegant solution satisfies the lady, and he tells Mina that he is looking forward to work with her. The next day Seo tries to talk to Mina and tries to teach her, but her shyness is a big hurdle and her responses are too slow, which is a big problem, almost making it awkward for him. Just then the owner comes and hands over the work of teaching Mina to Seo entirely. He smiles and says, "I will try my best." First he tells her to fix her bangs and she immediately ties it up. Later, Seo shows her how to organize the shelves, and reminds her that she must respond to customers with words, not just nods. Afterwards she starts getting the books from the shelves but can't reach it. Seo tells her to leave it at the moment, so then he gives her the card of the employee and put it over her neck, which makes her extremely uncomfortable, but he brushes it off with a smile and asks if she understood everything. She says yes. Finally a customer gets in, and he terrifies Mina at the counter and asks her about a book that he needs, overwhelming her with his passionate talk about books. Seo sees the situation and steps in, quickly handling the situation. He then completes the transaction of the books, sending the customer on his way. When he turns back to Mina, he notices that the girl is on the verge of tears and gets freaked out. Later, Seo walks up to the owner and tells him that Mina isn't doing okay. He tells him to ask his wife for help, and then gets back in the store to help customers. He then get back to the owner and have a serious discussion about the job, and he tell him that Mina is not suitable for this job, since she can't even talk to customers properly. The owner is disappointed hearing this, as she has been the customer since ages, and thinking about Mina that she has been a regular customer here. Seo decides to talk to her one more time about the job. Seo finds Mina at the back room with owner's wife, who is helping Mina get over her fears. After she leaves, Seo sits there with Mina and try to give her some reality check. He tells her that working with public is difficult, and asks if she truly believes she can handle annoying customer without breaking down. As Mina listens to him, Seo tells her to quit the job, but hearing it she gets teary. Looking at him, she screams, "I don't want to quit. I will work on myself." She bows her head in front of him and begs him to let her keep her job. This freaks out Seo, who tell her to lift her head. Her unexpected determination leaves him speechless. Just then the owner enters the room and agrees on giving Mina one more chance. Although Seo tell the owner that he can arrange the shelves a bit longer, but he asks him to come tomorrow again, after which Mina leaves too. Later, Seo is at home using his phone and notices a group video call with Eiko and Ashi going on, where the girls chit-chat about how their vacation is going along with the homework. While Eiko is applying her lotion, Ashi tell her that it looks like Seo has been working all day. Just then he joins in the video call. However, Eiko turn her video off out of embarrassment, so he starts talking with Ashi and explains what happened at the work today and how he made a girl bow right before him and how bad he feels about it. Ashi immediately assumes the girl won't show up to work next day, which irritates him. Eiko finally speaks up and gives a different perspective. She tells Seo that it wasn't his fault because as senior he did right thing by being honest about her performance. Seeing the two of them connect, Ashi leaves the call, and Seo gets excited listening to Eiko's perspective, after which they start having chit-chat with each other. However, after a minute, Seo cuts the call not knowing how to proceed further, which makes Eiko upset. The next day at work, Seo is stunned to see a huge difference in Mina. She is proactive and communicating today, trying her best to do every task. He instantly tries to give her a high five, but seeing her, he brushes it off. Just then a customer gets in and Mina goes to receive him, and she successfully does all the transaction by herself and sees him off. Seo gets excited seeing this massive change in Mina and asks, "How did you improve so much, Mina?" She just say that she practiced at home and leaves. She smiles at her achievement. Finally, during the break, Seo asks her the question that's been in his head, that why she is so desperate to work as part-time job. Mina looks down for a moment before she begins to explain. She tells him that she want to become independent, specifically from her older brother who is in moral committee. When he asks her, "Why do you want to get away from him?" she explains that she and her brother used to be very close and she loved reading with him, often sitting on his lap. But everything changed one day. He brought a girl named Yuri to his room. Seo immediately regrets asking her the question, but she continues. She says that one day when she came back from school she saw a pair of extra shoes at her home, so she ran to her brother's room to see if he is okay. As she hustles to open the door, she saw the girl kissing her brother and couldn't seem to remove the memory from her head and starts crying. Seo is traumatized by the story, and after hearing her story he finally understands her determination of having this job. He realized that this job isn't just about money, but her way to stay away from her complicated family situation. After that, he encourages her to let's go now, and she smiles. He watches her at work with amazing improvement, as she is no longer a shy girl from his class, but a person with fighting spirit, and the one who is quite proactive. He feels that they have developed great coordination, so all that's left is handling customer. Hearing the word customer, she looks back, and Seo says, "Let me handle next customer." Just then, Zuzu gets in the store. Seo introduces the two, and they greet each other politely, and Seo tells Suzu that Mina is in the same class as him. He then lets two of them have a genuine conversation, and he steps back and let the two of them chat about books, as he tells Zuzu that Mina has the same interest in books like herself. Seo is happy to see them getting along. Zuzu cheerfully holds Mina's hand, wishing to have a good friendship with her. While Mina says that she is still working, Seo tells her that she can chat till the next customer gets in, after which the two of them immediately fall into a deep conversation about books. Zuzu asks Mina about her favorite books, and she explains that she often chooses books by its title and cover. This answer delights Zuzu. She asks for recommendation of books, and Mina gives her, which Zuzu promises to read. Then Seo sees around the store that there is no customer, so he decides it's the perfect time to work on Mina's customer service skills. So he starts the role-playing simulation to help Mina practice. He imitates to be a difficult customer and asks her a series of tricky questions. While Mina fumbles answering it, she straight away walks towards the owner, and Seo runs after her, but the owner brushes it off laughing. Meanwhile, now it's Zuza's turn to be a problematic customer, and she gets excited to play the character. Despite being nervous initially, Mina handles the simulation surprisingly well, and the exercise is finally successful, and Seo feels satisfied that he has prepared Mina for when he eventually quit the job. The revelation that he will be leaving the store seems to hurt Mina, and she quietly walks away from him. While Seo stands there confused, she starts working on organizing the shelves by herself. As he leaves for home, he wonders whether Mina will be able to handle things on her own or not. That evening, he pours a glass of milk and gulps it down. As he is going through the messages, his sister, Kai, comes in and lounges on the sofa, ordering her regular coffee. So he starts preparing her coffee and pours it in the cup. But still his mind is fixed on the part that Mina told him, and he wonders that Mina is all alone. She has no friends. That's probably the reason she shared such a personal thing with him. As he hands the coffee to Kai, she stirs it and takes a big sip. But unlike other times, she doesn't insult him. Simply gives cup back to him and leaves. He gets confused by her reaction and tastes it himself. Immediately recoils in disgust, realizing he used salt instead of sugar back at the bookstore. Mina is working diligently holding the boxes of books. When Seo sees her, he picks the box from her and tells her to take it easy while she shows him how she is gonna greet the customer. Seo notices a cookbook on the table, making her slightly embarrassed. It turns out that she learned to cook eggs to surprise her brother. But when she went to meet him, she was greeted by his girlfriend. She had cooked for both of them, but since they didn't like the taste, Mina was deeply hurt. Meanwhile, Seo shows her how to cover the books and she learns immediately. He compliments her that she handles the books with great care, and she smiles hearing this. Seeing such a cutie, Seo proudly smiles, thinking after the school starts he can retire from the bookstore happily. As he gets out of the bookstore, Mina's brother comes there. He had finally tracked Mina down, hoping to talk to her. As he tries to approach his sister, Mina gets terrified and immediately hides behind Seo, refusing to speak to him. He stands there being her shield and she holds him tightly, while her brother tries to speak to her. So Seo tells him to let's find some good place to sit and talk. So they finally sits at a cafe to talk properly while Seo gets them some water. Once they starts talking, he apologizes to Mina for neglecting her. But Seo asks, do you even know why Mina is working at a bookstore? But he doesn't know that. This shocks Seo. He says, are you two not on the talking terms? But Mina's brother tells her that he want to talk to her. When she asks what is it, he says that they should continue their brother-sister relationship and that she shouldn't worry about his girlfriend Yuri. Just then, Yuri joins them and Seo introduces himself. After that, Yuri starts talking to Mina that she feels sorry to find out the reason she is working at the store, and that it is too soon for her to start a part-time job. But Mina screams, no, it is not too soon, and she insists Mina to quit the job. Throughout their conversation, they treat Mina like a little child. That's when Seo says that they should hear what Mina wants. He passionately defends Mina and describes her courage in facing difficult customers and her proactive work ethics. While Mina's brother still says that she is a shy girl who's forcing herself, Seo tells him that Mina is more capable than what he thinks, and that thinking that his sister should always remain under his wings is totally wrong. At last he declares that the couple has to trust Mina to build her own life. The couple looks at each other after this powerful speech and smiles. After they leave, Mina thanks Seo for helping her out, but Seo just tells her that you deserve a good chance to build your own life, and that he has seen her improving day after day in handling the customers. Hearing it, she gets a little teary and thanks Seo for his words of appreciation. The scene then shifts to the school, where Eiko is walking through the hallway. When Sasa approaches her, they both talk for a while, commenting on how Sasa has built his muscles in the vacation. Soon the two walks together to the classroom and organize their material for the tour. Eiko takes a seat at the desk and pulls out her phone, checking the group chat and gives a gentle smile. Just then Sasa returns to desk, hands her a piece of paper and sits beside her, making it a little awkward for Eiko. The next day, in the bookstore, Seo is cleaning up the front yard of the store in the hot afternoon. Just then Zuzu comes running and smiling towards him, and she starts complaining about how frizzy her hair feels because of the heat, but he tells her that it looks fine. Just then Mina gets there to call Seo in, and Zuzu gets inside the store too, and the two girls starts chatting yet again about books, and Zuzu gives her one of her favorite fantasy books, which makes Mina overwhelmed in happiness, as they both love it. Meanwhile, Seo arranges the book and he gets texts from his group chat about the school upcoming tour. Simone has taken a blurry photo of the students' guides. Just then his sister Kai messages him about what she wanna have. She tells him to make her the drink, and he does so. She then compliments Seo for doing his part-time job and also helping Mina. While he is shocked by how she got this information, Kai boasts that you should never question my intelligence. Seo mocks her for being intrusive and she almost kicks him on his face. And now that his part-time job is ending, Kai tells him to help with the school visit tour. She claims that the event is short-staffed, and even with the student council help, the moral committee is overloaded. Seo is clearly hesitant, but she convinces him by showing him the kick again and reminds him of the repercussion of rejecting being the member of moral committee, cornered from everywhere. Seo doesn't have any other options but to agree, and he gets up from there and starts making a coffee for her. As he gives it to her, she forces him to call Ren right there and then, so he calls her, and the call is incredibly awkward. Ren is initially surprised by the late-night call, so he tries to talk to her, but Kai, who's listening at the back, keeps stretching his ears, and he tells Ren that he wanna help in upcoming school tour, but she gently refuses his offer, saying they can handle it. This surprised Seo that she turned her down so quickly, but when he insists, Ren agrees and says, "It's a bit of a manual labor, will you be okay with it?" He agrees regardless of the work, and says he wanna meet her in person. This leaves Ren all flustered. He gives a thumbs up to his sister for making Ren agree and earns an outstanding thumbs up from her. The day of the school visit arrives. Seo meets Ren, but she feels a little awkward since the last call was a little weird while Seo plays it cool, and asks, "Why are you being shy?" She says that it's nothing like that and mentions that after the last incident where he first threw away Yuanami's hand and then held it back was quite awkward for all of them. So he tells her that if it's all about Yuanami, he will handle it, but she sharply tells him that she doesn't want any awkwardness between them two. After which she starts explaining him that the student council will handle the tour and will show public the school campus, while the moral committee is in the charge of the grunt work, like transporting materials and preparing the venue. Ren also mentions that these tasks requires responsibility, and she is convinced that Seo is very much responsible. But Seo jokes, it's a blessed opportunity to show off his manliness, earning a playful shove from Ren, and she then show him a class where teacher is giving lecture on how to run the tour where Eiko and Sasa are present too. But of course, Seo gets uneasy seeing both Eiko and Sasa together and leaves from there immediately. After that he meets up with the members of moral committee and greets them, and Mina's brother really appreciates him for taking care of his shy little sister at the bookstore. He thanks Seo for his help towards his sister, and just as they are chit-chatting, Seo asks them, what help do they need exactly? Meanwhile, after the school tour lecture is over, Sasa asks Eiko if she wanna join him in the upcoming football tournament. She politely refuses, saying she has to take care of her little sister, and she starts reflecting on her past, about how she always felt suffocated by her family's financial situation, and how she always had to cut down plans with her friends. That's how she became completely different from her classmates, who could casually go around, while she was always lonely. One day, while she was having lunch by herself, Seo crashed into her life and she saw her own self in this helpless boy. That's why she helped him immediately, because she saw her own reflection in him. She also remembers how Seo thanked her formally on the terrace the next day. But he also confessed his love at first sight. Naturally, Eiko rejected him since she was too busy in her own family's situation, and leaves from there. But Seo never gave up. He was always there, with his weird creepiness, always trying to find the excuses to be around her. But she finally realized that Seo has always been so positive, as no matter how many times she refused him, he kept coming after her. The rumors about a strange boy following her had made other students notice her, talk to her, and slowly she started making new friends. Soon there was a time when Seo never disturbed her, and she felt weirdly disappointed about it. But as the graduation of middle school approached, her whole world changed. As she was accepted in the high school, she saw her name on the board, and immediately called her mom to share the news. As she was about to leave, Seo approached her and congratulated her for managing to get in the Kauhai High School, and tell her that he managed to get there as well, because his only goal is to remain close to Eiko. But she gets extremely embarrassed hearing it, and tell him to stop doing it, and he says that, "I will stop once you pronounce my name," saving herself from embarrassment. She says it, at present, as Seo remains distant from her, which makes Eiko feels really uneasy. She gets a feeling of lost. She just realizes how much she misses Seo's presence. A desperate need to see him, make her look for him everywhere. But when she doesn't find him anywhere, she feels depressed. When Sasa asks her, is there anything wrong? She brushes him off, but when he says, "Are you looking for Seo?" she gets surprised hearing it. But as he wishes to say something, he gets a call and he leaves. Eiko leaves as well, and just as she walks across the ground, Seo's voice floods in her mind, and his recent promise not to bother her anymore makes her uneasy. She then checks her group chat and says, "I miss you, Seo," but denies it immediately. But just then, she spots Seo at a distance, carrying a chair and runs towards him, but he disappears into another room. But her frantic search continues, and she goes through the entire school to find him. As she runs through the corridors, his voice plays in her head, and she finally bumps right into him. The impact stumbles them to the ground, and he looks straight into her eye and asks, "Where are you going in such a hurry, Aiko?" As the two gets up, Seo stretches his body. Aiko finds this cute somehow, and he mentions that he has been doing some manual labor. Aiko's next words leaves him surprised as she says that she saw him. She suddenly steps closer and takes the smell, saying, "You have worked hard." This gesture of Aiko leaves him completely frozen. Seo struggles to process it, and thinks that maybe she haven't seen him for a while, that's why she forgot that she doesn't like him. They both starts blushing, while Aiko fans herself. Seo asks, "Why were you running?" And after a moment of hesitation, she confesses that she wanted to see him in person. This confession is totally unexpected for Seo, and she sweetly tells him that it's been a while they haven't hung out at all, which makes Seo blush even more. After that, they simply shift the conversation to his part-time job and his situation with Mina, and he tells her that it went perfectly well. After she advised him to listen to Mina's side, Aiko's expression changes after that. She almost gets quiet, but he never intends to make her sad, and asks her what she did in the vacation as she seems a little tan. She tells him she got tan over the beach, which immediately reminds Seo of her swimsuit photo. Aiko's face blushes with anger. She demands he hands over his phone so she can delete her photo, but Seo instinctively grabs her hand to stop her, and they both froze in the moment, making the eye contact. They are interrupted by Ashi with a cheerful greeting, after which they both sit together, and to reset the mood, Seo buys orange juice for both of them. Ashi then talks about her volleyball club, mentioning she is a likely candidate to be a star. The conversation then turns back to Seo's tan. He almost let it slip that he was at the same beach as them, but stops himself, not wanting to explain his meeting. His nervousness is clearly visible, and Ashi gives him a suspicious look, sensing his discomfort. Aiko pats the spot on the bench between her and Ashi, and Seo sits down in between them, and they start talking about the school tour, and Seo tells them jokingly that he is too good looking to be a school guide. She of course surprises them both. Ashi then teases him, asking if he was jealous and wanted to be at Sasa's place to sit next to Aiko. He denies, but Aiko says, "Why? You also helped Mina, right?" And Ashi teases him even more about him and Mina, but he tells her to shut up as Mina is just a classmate. Aiko smiles and teases him too, saying, "Don't bother Mina too much." His expressions darken and he says he won't bother anyone. Aiko realizes that the casual words might have hurt him, so she tries to get close to him, and he notices her hand next to him. Just then Aiko gets up and asks if he will be at school tomorrow for the tour. He says that he has some work to do, but promises to meet her. Ashi says, "It's okay even if you don't come," and the two breaks in a little arguments, but Aiko pulls both of them away. The following day at the bookstore, Seo checks on Mina and tell her that she is doing really well. The moment he is about to leave, she remind him that tomorrow is school tour, which he almost forgot, so Seo says he will be taking off tomorrow. The next day, the school is busy with visiting middle schoolers, and the moral committee tell them all to sit over auditorium. After that, the handsome student council president, Yugo, is on stage, effortlessly captivating the middle schoolers. Seo from the side watches him speak and charm the audience. He then see Aiko, who is looking like a princess and looking at the students, and he just smiles looking at her. Outside, Sasa is greeting his assigned tour group of middle schoolers, which include Zuzu and others. He then introduces them to Aiko, and one of the girls immediately asks about their relationship, causing Sasa to get nervous. However, Aiko calmly clarifies that they are just classmates, which makes Sasa a little sad, and they leaves. The tour begins with both Aiko and Sasa being excellent guides. He asks Aiko that we both are good in explaining because we have younger siblings at home, and asks her that we should meet again with our siblings. Just then one of the middle schoolers asks Aiko why she chose this school over any other, and she says it's the best school. Also the uniforms are the cutest, which makes all of them smile and agrees to her, and they says we are excited to join here as high schoolers. And they then talk about how this school is better than any other. Aiko explains the activities here in this high school. Through the hall, Sasa encounters a group of rowdy boys bothering Riina. Aiko steps in with a surprising and powerful confidence, staring them down, and declares that the school doesn't need troublemakers like them. Her dominance leaves the boys speechless, and she straight away tell them that this school doesn't need them. This impresses Riina too. As the tour continues, Zuzu gushes to her friends about Sayo, saying she want him to be their guide next time, and her friends teases her about her crush. Later, as they move ahead, the troublemaker boys approaches Eiko and apologizes for their behavior. After they finish with the group, Seo and another committee member pass by. Eiko spots them, but Zuzu takes the lead. She shouts Seo's name and runs towards him, while Sasa and Eiko follows close behind. Seo is caught off guard as all of them gets towards him and surrounds him. Zuzu gets super excited to see him, and her friends excitedly tell him how he went on a date with her, and how he is not at all good with words. They speaks one by one, making it extremely awkward for Seo. However, Seo gets surprised by how Zuzu is completely different when she is with them at the bookstore. Zuzu keeps talking about how soft-spoken gentleman he was at their date, but Seo stops her immediately. She gets embarrassed and eventually leaves with her annoying bunch of friends, while Eiko keeps giving complicated expressions. Then Sasa leaves him with Eiko in the awkward situation and takes a bolt while Seo tries to speak up but can't. Eventually Eiko takes him along with her. Later, Ashi starts teasing Sayo immensely about being polite gentleman, and jokes that, "We thought you were busy with your job." It irritates Sayo, and he says, "You shouldn't ask about someone's business." Eiko is still confused as she has bunch of questions for him, but still she tell him to delete the swimsuit photo and ask for his phone, but he denies, saying, "I just saw it once." Anyway, Eiko tell him that you can keep the photo on one condition, that you will have to hang out with me and Ashi. This stuns Sayo, and he cheerfully accepts this deal. Ashi smiles, seeing her friends getting along so well now. On a rainy afternoon near the end of summer vacation, Seo is working in the bookstore. After that, Mina gets there too, and they both checks the weather outside, so he moves the books to protect them from the damp. Just then it starts raining, and he is surprised to see Eiko running towards him seeking shelter. As she get inside the bookstore, Mina immediately hands her a towel to dry up her hairs. The change in Mina's behavior is quite visible to even Eiko, and Sayo adds that Mina, who looks timid and shy, is actually a very thoughtful girl. When Sayo asks, "What brings you here?" she says, "I just wanted to see you, that's why I came." But Eiko continues asking him question like, "Are you gonna quit working here?" He says yes. Once the vacation is over, he will quit. To make the situation even more awkward, Zuzu gets in, also soaked from rain. She gets in and greets Eiko, who immediately uses her towel to dry her up. Just then Mina greets her from a distance and call her over the back room, and Zuzu excitedly goes inside. Eiko looks at them with complicated expressions, as Mina immediately dries up Zuzu, feeling like an outsider. Eiko makes a jealous comment on how well Seo get along with these two girls and asks him, "Don't you want to go there?" He denies, saying he don't want to leave her alone, making her blush. But she looks the other side. But when Sayo tries to ask again, Eiko's foot slip on the wet carpet, and she slips instinctively on Sayo's arms, and they both get frozen in the romantic pose. As the two stare at each other, Mina and Zuzu witnesses the moment. However, they immediately close the door to give them privacy. It's an awkward moment for both of them, but Eiko changes the subject and invites Sayo to her house. As the two of them blushes, she clarifies it to him that she want him to be a kind older brother to Ayer, her sister. The direct request leaves Seo completely flustered. Seo takes this as compliments and agrees to come. A few days later, a nervous Seo arrives with Ashi at Eiko's house. Seeing him flustered, Ashi rings the doorbell. They are soon greeted not only by Eiko but her cute little sister Ayer, so he begins formally introducing himself to her, but Ashi pulls his cheek, saying he is our classmate, and hugs Ayer. Ayer immediately starts liking Sayo. She climbs onto his back, demanding horseback rides, and he is unable to refuse, and end up spending next hour crawling. Seeing the dead tired face of Sayo, Eiko picks up Ayer and saves him for some time. In just a few seconds, Ayer goes back to play with Sayo, jumping on him again. Seeing them play like this brings a warm smile on Eiko's and Ashi's face. Later, they all sit together and grab a glass of cold drinks. Seo mockingly mentions that, "I am just like Ayer's older brother," making Eiko slightly mad at him. Even Ashi teases her about it, and Ayer stands up too, demanding explanation. But Ashi tell Ayer that she looks exactly like how her big sister was when she was young. This makes her smiles, and she says, "Yes, I am a big girl now." And Seo start imagining Eiko as a baby, but she immediately tell him to stop it. Ashi teases Eiko as well, saying, "Ayer, do you really want a big brother?" Irritated, Eiko starts punching her on the back. After hours of playing with Ayer, Seo sits down quietly. However, Eiko's mom gets home soon. As she enters, her eyes lands on Sayo, and she recognizes him. After he greets her, Her mom smiles and says she has heard of him from Eiko. The revelation makes Sayo shocked. Later, as they are leaving, Aya and her mom wave a goodbye to Sayo. Ashi teases Sayo about being everyone's favorite, and he blushes. And they all leaves as the three of them walk together. Seo compliments her that she looks exactly like her mom, but she shuts him saying, "Don't be creepy." Just then, Ashi makes some excuse and peel off, hoping to give two of them some private time. Then Aiko walks a little further with Sayo. As the evening breeze hits them gently, the two starts talking about school. Aiko opens up about how much fun she is having in school now, as she is now hanging out more with her friends. Ever since that cafeteria incident happened with Sayo, her life has been much happier, because earlier she never had any friends. She remembers the moment she told her mom about joining high school, and how happy she was. She tell him that her classmates only started noticing her when Sayo stopped being around her. And that's how she started nurturing new friendships while he struggles to come up with a response. Aiko tell him that she is extremely grateful for everything he has done. She tell him that she has always been emotionally closed and Sayo was the one who changed her. Sayo still apologizes to her for constantly nagging her, but she stops for a moment and looks at him with tears in her eyes. She says, "I miss you every day when you aren't around," and says that, "I always want to be with you." Her words settle between them. The sudden loud burst of fireworks starts, and Eiko, who has fear of loud noises, instinctively throws herself into his arms. Seo notices the firework and says it's the fireworks show today. As they stand close together, he holds her tightly. After a moment, Eiko looks up and asks, "Why don't you bother me anymore?" This makes Sayo blush, and she says, "I love being around you and I want you the same way like before." And she expresses her feelings, saying, "I love you, Sayo." As they both looks at each other, the beautiful fireworks is lighting up the sky. After which they both starts walking ahead. Seo hesitantly reaches for her hand, but gets insecure about it. Seeing this, Aiko takes the initiative herself and their hands gently intertwine. After that he holds her hand tightly, and they walk back to her home. The next day, the morning starts exactly like usual where Kai is hustling him out, and she asks him to do some of her work in the exact same manner using her dominance. And like usual, Seo agrees to her. As he walks ahead, he notices Eiko waiting for him on the way for the school. She fixes his tie which makes him all red. He then fixes his hairs and the two set out for the school. Both for them chit-chat and share a beautiful laughter as their relationship is no more one-sided dream now, but a beautiful reality. That's all for today. If you want the next part, comment next part. We'll make it once this video hits 10,000 likes. Also, tell us which character you like the most in the comments. And thanks for watching, you guys are the best.